These are not ordinary stones. They rise like sentinels, some taller than 3 men stacked shoulder to shoulder. Their surfaces etched with symbols that seem to shimmer in the half-light animals, stars, and shapes that defy understanding. They stand in circles, precise and deliberate, as if arranged by hands guided by a vision we can scarcely imagine. These stones have witnessed the passage of 12,000 years, a span that stretches beyond the invention of the wheel, beyond the first seeds sown in fertile soil, beyond the earliest cities we thought we knew. Someone somewhere in a time we call the deep past decided this place was sacred enough to move mountains, literally carving and hauling blocks weighing as much as a herd of elephants using nothing but their hands. Their will and a purpose that burns through the ages. Welcome, dear listener, to Codex of the Lost, where we journey into the shadows of human history, seeking the echoes of those who came before us. I am Mr. your guide through the labyrinth of the past, where every stone, every ruin, every whisper of the earth holds a story waiting to be heard. Tonight, we embark on a quest to unravel one of the greatest enigmas of all. What if we are not the first civilization to walk this earth? What if beneath the dust of centuries, beneath the waves of forgotten seas, beneath the tidy narratives of our history books, be the remnants of worlds that rose and fell long before we began to write our own story? What if the arc of human progress is not a steady climb from caves to skyscrapers, but a tapestry of peaks and valleys, of knowledge gained and lost, of entire civilizations that flourished in brilliance only to vanish into silence? For generations, we've been told a simple tale that civilization began some 6,000 years ago when humans in the fertile valleys of Mesopotamia and Egypt learned to farm, to write, to build cities. Before that, we're taught our ancestors were mere wanderers, small bands of hunter-gatherers chasing herds across endless plains, leaving behind only fleeting traces, flint tools, scattered bones, and the ashes of long-dead fires. It's a comforting story, a linear path that makes sense of our journey from primitive to modern, from fire to flight. But what if this tale is only a fragment of the truth? What if the past is not a single thread, but a vast broken mirror, its shards reflecting glimpses of societies far older, far wiser, far more capable than we've dared to imagine? Across the globe, there are whispers of something more. In the highlands of Turkey, massive stone circles predate the pyramids by thousands of years, their carvings hinting at a people who understood the stars and the seasons. Off the coasts of India and Japan, sunken structures lie beneath the waves, their streets and temples now home to fish and coral, drowned by seas that rose when the last ice age ended. In the mountains of Bolivia and Peru, blocks of stone, some heavier than modern locomotives, are fitted together with a precision that defies our understanding of ancient tools. These are not mere curiosities or footnotes in the grand narrative of human progress. They are challenges to everything we think we know, invitations to question the timeline we've accepted and to wonder what if we are only the latest chapter in a book whose earlier pages have been torn away by time, weather, and the restless movement of the earth itself. Consider the possibility that we are not the first to gaze at the night sky and ponder our place in the cosmos. Imagine that others long before us gathered in sacred spaces to worship, to dream, to create art and architecture that would outlast their fleeting lives. Picture cities built along ancient coastlines now submerged beneath hundreds of feet of water, their inhabitants navigating vast oceans with skills we've yet to rediscover. These are not fantasies, but possibilities grounded in the stones we walk upon, in the myths we've dismissed as mere stories, in the clues that emerge from the earth with every new discovery. The past is not a closed book, but an open investigation, one that grows stranger and more wonderful with each layer we uncover. Let's linger for a moment on the idea of lost worlds. The legends of Atlantis, Lemuria, or the fabled continent of MW have long captivated our imaginations. These are tales of golden ages, of civilizations that mastered arts and sciences we can barely comprehend, only to be swallowed by catastrophe floods, earthquakes, or cosmic events that erase them from memory. For centuries, scholars dismissed these stories as myths, beautiful fictions spun to entertain or inspire. But what if they hold kernels of truth? What if the floods described in ancient texts, be it the Bible, the Epic of Gilgamesh, or the sacred writings of India, echoes of real events, of coastlines drowned when ice sheets melted 1500 years ago? What if the gods and heroes of these tales were not divine beings, but the distorted memories of real people, leaders, and innovators of societies we've yet to rediscover? The evidence is tantalizing. Beneath the waves off the coast of India, divers have found stone walls and foundations that match descriptions in ancient Sanskrit texts, hinting at a city that thrived when the seas were lower. In the jungles of Indonesia, a hill once thought natural reveals chambers and passages that could date back 20,000 years, suggesting a level of engineering unthinkable for its time. These discoveries raise questions that linger like shadows. Were these places part of a global network, a web of cultures connected by trade, ideas, or shared knowledge? Could they have possessed technologies, perhaps not machines as we know them, but methods of working stone, harnessing energy, or navigating the stars that we've lost to the ages? The allure of these mysteries lies not just in their age, but in their defiance of our expectations. We like to think of history as a steady march forward, each generation building on the last. But what if progress is not a straight line? What if civilizations rose to great heights only to fall into oblivion, their knowledge scattered like dust in the wind? The Younger Dryas, a period of sudden climate change 12,000 years ago, brought freezing temperatures and rising seas that could have toppled advanced societies, leaving only their most durable creation, stone monuments. Submerged ruin hint at their existence. Perhaps these ancient builders left us warnings encoded in their myths and structures about the fragility of even the greatest societies in the face of nature's wrath. As we stand on this imaginary hillside, surrounded by stones that have outlasted empires, we feel the weight of their silence. These relics are more than artifacts. They are voices from a time we thought was mute, speaking of dreams and ambitions that mirror our own. They challenge us to look beyond the familiar landmarks of recorded history, to imagine a world where our ancestors were not just survivors, but creators, not just wanderers, but architects of wonders. What drove them to carve these stones, to align them with the stars, to build structures that would endure for millennia? Was it faith, fear, or a desire to leave a mark on eternity? And what does it mean for us today to walk in their footsteps, to touch the same stones they touched, to ask the same questions they asked under the same endless sky? Tonight we will journey to these forgotten places, from the windswept hills of Turkey to the submerged coasts of distant seas, from the towering stones of Lebanon to the intricate walls of Anian fortresses. We will explore the possibility that our history is far stranger, far older, and far more complex than we've been taught. We will listen to the stories carved in stone, whispered in myths, and preserved in the earth itself. These are the echoes of lost civilizations, waiting patiently through centuries to share their truths with those brave enough to listen, curious enough to question, and open enough to imagine that the past holds secrets we are only beginning to uncover. Close your eyes, dear listener, and let your mind drift back through time. Picture a world before history as we know it, a world of vibrant communities, ingenious builders, and stargazers who mapped the heavens with a precision that still astonishes us. Imagine their cities, their temples, their lives unfolding in landscapes now lost to us. As we begin this journey, let the mysteries of the past wrap around you like a warm blanket, guiding you towards sleep with the promise that every question we ask tonight brings us closer to understanding who we are, where we came from, and what wonders might still lie hidden, just beyond the reach of our current knowledge. The stones are waiting, and their stories are calling. Let us step forward together into the enigma of lost civilizations, where every discovery is a step deeper into the heart of our shared human story. As the dawn's first light fades from the hillside where we stood, imagining the whispers of lost civilizations, we now journey to a specific place, a cornerstone of mystery that challenges everything we thought we knew about our past. Welcome to Gobisi, a site nestled in the rugged highlands of southeastern Turkey, where the earth itself seems to guard secrets older than time. Here, beneath a gentle rise known to local shepherds as Potbelly Hill, lies a discovery so profound it has rewritten the story of human beginnings. As we walk this ancient ground, the air carries a faint tang of dust and wild herbs, and the stones beneath our feet hum with the weight of 12,000 years. These are not mere ruins. They are a testament to a people who defied the limits of their era, building something so extraordinary it forces us to question the very foundations of our history. Let us step into this sacred space, dear listener, and uncover the enigma of Göbekli, the temple that stands as a riddle wrapped in stone. Imagine a world 12,000 years ago when the last ice age was loosening its grip on the earth. The landscape was wilder then, a tapestry of rolling hills and lush valleys where herds of gazelle roamed and rivers ran clear. According to the history books, the people of this time were simple hunter-gatherers, living in small bands, their lives consumed by the daily struggle to survive. They had no cities, no writing, no metal tools, just flint, bone, and the strength of their hands. Yet here at GBC, these supposed nomads did something unthinkable. They quarried massive limestone blocks, some weighing as much as 16 tons, and dragged them across rugged terrain. They carved them with breathtaking precision, raising them into circles that stand like silent orchestras frozen in time. These are not crude heaps of rock, but sophisticated works of art arranged with a purpose we can only guess at. Their surfaces alive with images that speak of a world we've barely begun to understand. The pillars of Göbekli are the heart of this mystery. Each one towers like a two-story building shaped into a perfect T, with some archaeologists suggesting they represent stylized human figure sentinels watching over rituals lost to the ages. Their surfaces are a canvas of ancient artistry etched with creatures that seem to leap from the stone. Lions prowl with flowing manes, their muscles taut as if ready to spring. Wild boars charge with gleaming tusks, captured in mid-stride. Vultures spread their wings, poised for flight, while serpents coil in intricate patterns, their scales so finely detailed, you can almost feel their cool, smooth glide. These are not random decorations, but a deliberate menagerie, perhaps telling stories of creation, survival, or the sacred bond between these people and the natural world. Some of these animals long vanished from this region hint at a time when the climate was greener, when this land was a paradise of forests and plains, home to creatures no longer seen. What makes Göbekli so staggering is its age. 12,000 years old, predates Stonehenge by 7,000 years and the pyramids of Egypt by 8,000. It was built before humans learned to grow crops, before they domesticated animals, before they crafted pottery or invented the wheel. Everything we thought we knew about prehistoric humanity tells us that such a feat should have been impossible. Hunter-gatherers, we were taught, lacked the time, resources, or organization to undertake massive construction projects. Yet here they stand, these circles of stone, proof that our ancestors were capable of far more than we've given them credit for. Building Gobasi would have required hundreds of workers laboring for decades, quarrying stone with tools of flint and bone, transporting it without wheels, and raising it with an engineering precision that still baffles us. This was no small endeavor, but a monumental act of collective will driven by a vision we can only imagine. The carvings themselves are a puzzle, each one a clue to the minds that created them. The animals are not just art. They seem to carry meaning, perhaps representing totems, spiritual guides, or myths that bound this community together. Some pillars bear abstract symbol circles, lines, and enigmatic shapes that might mark astronomical events, territorial boundaries, or spiritual concepts. One carving depicts a human figure intertwined with animals, suggesting shamanic rituals where people took on the traits of powerful creatures, blurring the line between human and wild. Another shows a headless man, a motif that echoes across ancient cultures, perhaps hinting at sacrifice or transformation. These images are not the work of amateurs but of skilled artisans who mastered their craft over generations using tools so simple: flint knives, stone hammers, wooden levers that their achievements seem almost miraculous. But the greatest mystery of Bekleet lies not in its creation but in its burial. Around 10,000 years ago, this magnificent complex was deliberately covered with tons of earth and debris. This was not the slow work of time or natural erosion, but a conscious act, a decision to hide these temples from the world. The burial was so thorough that the site remained hidden for millennia until a German archaeologist, Klaus Schmidt, began excavating in 1994, brushing away centuries of soil to reveal these sleeping giants. Why would a people go to such lengths to conceal their greatest creation? Was it an act of reverence, sealing a sacred space to protect it for eternity? Or was it a response to crisis or shift in beliefs? A change in climate, or a fear that their world was ending? Some researchers link this burial to the Younger Dus, a period of sudden cooling that disrupted the Earth 12,000 years ago, bringing drought and upheaval. Perhaps these temples were built to appease gods angered by a changing world, then buried when new beliefs took hold or when the crisis passed. The astronomical alignments of Bekleet add another layer to its enigma. The circular enclosures are oriented towards specific stars and constellations, suggesting that their builders tracked the heavens with a precision that rivals modern astronomy. They may have marked the solstices, the equinoxes, or rare celestial events, weaving their observations into the fabric of their rituals. Imagine standing where these ancient stargazers stood, gazing at the same constellations: Orion, hunting across the winter sky, the Pleiades glittering like a jeweled pendant. The stars have shifted slightly over millennia, but their patterns remain, a celestial map that connected these people to the cosmos. This knowledge gained through patient observation over generations suggests a sophistication we've only begun to appreciate. A science embedded in stone and ceremony. Could Quebec be more than a temple? Some speculate it was a hub of a larger network, a place where far-flung communities gathered to share knowledge, trade goods, or perform rites that bound them together. Nearby sites like Karahanteep and Nalachi, now partially lost to modern dams, reveal similar T-shaped pillars and carved animals, hinting at a shared culture that spanned southeastern Turkey and northern Syria. This was no isolated endeavor, but part of a broader tradition, a civilization that flourished before we thought such things were possible. The implications are staggering. If these sites are connected, we're looking at a society capable of coordinating across vast distances, of passing down artistic and engineering traditions for centuries, of creating monuments that would endure for millennia. But let's venture into the shadows of speculation where the mysteries deepen. Some fringe theories suggest Göbekli was more than a local creation, that it was a beacon of a global civilization, its symbols echoing in the art of distant cultures from the megaliths of South America to the pyramids of Egypt. Could its builders have been part of a lost network? A web of knowledge that stretched across continents carried by seafarers or nomads we've yet to recognize. Others whisper of even stranger possibilities, that the precision of the carvings, the alignment of the stones hints at knowledge beyond what stone tools could achieve. Could they have tapped into energies we don't understand? Magnetic forces, acoustic properties, or even lost technologies that allowed them to shape stone with uncanny ease. These ideas, while unproven, stir the imagination, inviting us to wonder if the truth lies just beyond the edge of our current understanding. The stones of Göbekli are not just relics. They are storytellers. Each pillar, each carving, each circle holds a narrative we're only beginning to decipher. They speak of a people who looked at the raw limestone of their world and saw possibilities, who organized their lives around a vision so powerful it drove them to create something eternal. As the sun sets over Potbelly Hill, casting long shadows across the carved lions and serpents, we feel their presence, their hands that shaped the stone, their eyes that watched the stars, their hearts that dreamed of something greater. These are not the primitive nomads of our textbooks, but architects of wonder, artists of the eternal, and keepers of secrets we're only now learning to hear. As we linger here, surrounded by these ancient sentinels, we realize that Göbekli is not the end of our journey, but a doorway to deeper mysteries. What other wonders lie hidden in the earth, waiting to challenge our assumptions? What other voices from the past are ready to speak? If only we know where to listen. Let us carry this question with us as we move forward, leaving the windswept hills of Turkey to explore another enigma, another place where the past defies our understanding. Picture a lush island in Indonesia, where a hill cloaked in tropical forest hides a structure so ancient it could rewrite the story of human achievement. Join me, dear listener, as we step from the stone circles of Göbekli to the verdant slopes of Gunung Padang, where the earth holds secrets even older, even stranger, and even more profound. As we leave the ancient stone circles of Göbekli, where carved pillars whisper of a forgotten past, we journey across continents to a lush, verdant island in Indonesia, where another enigma rises from the earth like a green giant cloaked in mystery. Welcome to Gunung Padang, a hill that appears unremarkable at first glance, its slopes draped in tropical forest, its surface scattered with volcanic rocks that seem to blend into the natural landscape. But appearances deceive, and beneath this unassuming mound lies a secret so profound it could reshape our understanding of human history. The air here is thick with the scent of frangipani and damp earth, the calls of exotic birds echoing through the canopy above. This is no ordinary hill, dear listener, but a place the locals call the Mountain of Light, a site that may hold the key to one of the oldest and most complex structures ever built by human hands. As we stand on its terraces, bathed in the golden glow of twilight, let us uncover the riddle of Gunung Padang, a potential pyramid that challenges the very timeline of civilization. Picture a world 20,000 years ago when vast ice sheets still locked much of the Earth's water, leaving coastlines stretching far beyond their modern boundaries. In this distant epoch, humans were thought to be little more than nomadic bands, scraping by with stone tools, their lives defined by the hunt and the seasons. Yet beneath the surface of Gunung Padang, evidence suggests something far more extraordinary, structure built with a precision and scale that defies everything we thought possible for such an ancient time. The hill itself, rising gently from the surrounding landscape, was long revered by local people as a sacred place. Its terrace slopes perfect for meditation and spiritual reflection. For centuries, they walked its paths, unaware that beneath their feet lay layers of stonework, chambers, and passages that could stretch back to the dawn of human ingenuity. The story of Gunung Padang's discovery begins in 1998, when Indonesian archaeologists first studied the stone arrangements on its surface. First, they seemed to uncover a modest megalithic cytolage basalt columns arranged in terraces that followed the hill's natural contours. Carbon dating of organic material found between the stones suggested an age of 3,000 to 4,000 years. Ancient but not unprecedented in a region rich with temples and monuments. The site was catalogued as another intriguing piece of Indonesia's archaeological tapestry. And for years, that was where the story rested. But some researchers, their curiosity sparked by the precise alignment of the massive stones, each weighing several tons, began to suspect there was more to this hill than met the eye. How had such heavy blocks been quarried, shaped, and transported to the top of a steep slope? Why did the terraces seem to align with the rising and setting of certain stars, as if designed with celestial purpose? In 2010, a team of geologists and archaeologists took a bold step, employing cutting-edge technology to peer beneath the surface. Using ground-penetrating radar, seismic surveys, and core drilling, they probed the depths of Gunung Padang. And what they found was nothing short of astonishing. This was no natural hill adorned with a few ancient stones. It was a colossal artificial structure built in multiple layers over thousands of years, each layer a testament to different phases of human activity. The radar revealed chambers and tunnels deep within the hill, empty spaces suggesting rooms or passageways crafted with remarkable precision. Seismic data showed organized walls, foundations, and architectural features extending far into the earth, far beyond what anyone had imagined. Core samples brought up fragments of worked stone and a concrete-like material, evidence of human construction at depths that pushed the boundaries of time itself. The most staggering findings came from the deepest layers. As the drills descended, the dates grew older: 10,000 reals years, then 15,000, and controversially as far back as 20,000 years or more. If true, Gunung Padang would not only be the oldest pyramid in the world, but the oldest large-scale human construction ever discovered, predating Göbekli by 8000 and the pyramids of Egypt by 15,000. Such a timeline turns history on its head. 20,000 years ago, humans were supposed to be living in small, scattered groups, focused solely on survival. The idea that they could have organized a labor force to build a stepped pyramid covering several acres seems impossible. Yet the evidence persists: stonework at depths that defy conventional archaeology, chambers that hint at a purpose we can't yet grasp, and a structure that suggests a society far more advanced than we've ever imagined. In 2023, the research team published a paper declaring Gunung Padang the oldest pyramid known to humanity, sending shock waves through the archaeological community. Critics, however, were quick to challenge the findings, questioning the dating methods and the interpretation of the radar data. The debate grew so heated that the journal eventually retracted the paper, citing methodological concerns and the need for more rigorous peer review. But retracting a paper does not erase the physical evidence. The radar scans still show mysterious chambers deep within the hill. The core samples still contain fragments of worked stone from layers that should by all accounts be untouched by human hands. The basalt columns on the surface, arranged with a precision that suggests astronomical knowledge, continue to defy easy explanation. Whether Gunung Padang is 4,000 years old or 20,000, It represents a level of human achievement that demands we rethink what our ancestors were capable of. Let's pause to consider the terraces themselves. Each one a marvel of engineering. The basalt columns, some over 10 feet long and weighing several tons, had to be quarried from volcanic rock, shaped with exacting care, and hauled up the hill's steep slopes using only human power. The arrangement of these stones shows a clear understanding of geometry, with terraces that follow the hill's contours yet align with celestial events. Researchers have identified orientations that correspond to the rising and setting of specific stars as they appeared thousands of years ago, suggesting the builders observed the heavens over generations, recording their movements with a precision that rivals modern astronomy. Imagine them standing on these slopes at dawn, watching the first light touch a particular stone, marking the solstice or a star's ascent, their rituals weaving the earth and sky into a single sacred narrative. But the mystery deepens when we explore the acoustic properties of the site. Some chambers detected through radar and accessed through limited excavations seem designed to amplify sound in unusual ways. Voices echo and resonate, creating an otherworldly effect that might have been used in ceremonies or spiritual practices. Could the builders have understood principles of acoustics, shaping their chambers to enhance chants or music, to evoke a sense of the divine? This possibility adds a layer of sophistication to Gunung Padang, suggesting a culture that not only mastered stone, but also harnessed the power of sound to shape their world. The botanical evidence around the site tells another story, one of a changing world. Analysis of ancient pollen and plant remains reveals that the region's climate has shifted dramatically over millennia. When the deepest layers of Gunung Padang were built, the area may have been cooler, perhaps more forested, home to plants and trees no longer found here. This suggests the builders lived in a landscape vastly different from today's tropical paradise. Their work a response to an environment we can barely reconstruct. Could they have been preserving a memory of that lost world in their stone terraces? A monument to a time when their land was lush and abundant. Now, let's step into the realm of speculation where the shadows of Gunung Padang grow longer and more intriguing. Some theorists propose that this site is evidence of a lost civilization, one that possessed technologies or knowledge far beyond what we attribute to prehistoric peoples. The precision of the stonework, the depth of the chambers, and the astronomical alignments have led to whispers of techniques that seem almost otherworldly, tools that cut stone with laser-like accuracy, methods to move massive blocks that defy simple levers and rollers. Could they have harnessed geomagnetic energies, as some fringe researchers suggest, or even manipulated sound waves to shape stone? A technique hinted at in ancient myths. Others go further, linking Gunung Padang to legends of Mu, a fabled Pacific continent said to have sunk beneath the waves, its survivors scattering their knowledge across Asia and beyond. These ideas, while unproven, stir the imagination, inviting us to wonder if the truth lies in a realm we've yet to explore. The cultural implications of Gunung Padang are profound. If the site is as old as some claim, it suggests that complex societies emerged not only in the river valleys of Mesopotamia, but also in Southeast Asia thousands of years earlier than we thought. This challenges the idea that civilization spread from a single cradle, suggesting instead that human ingenuity blossomed independently in far-flung corners of the world. Perhaps the builders of Gunung Padang were connected to those who raised Baklit, not through direct contact, but through a shared human impulse to create, to build, to reach for the stars. The terraces, standing firm through millennia, are a testament to that impulse, a reminder that our ancestors saw possibilities where we see only obstacles. As we stand on these ancient slopes, the mist curling around the basalt columns, we feel the weight of time itself. Gunung Padang is not just a hill, but a question mark, a challenge to our assumptions about the past. Its chambers and terraces hold stories we've yet to fully hear, secrets we've yet to fully uncover. Whether it is 4,000 years old or 20,000, whether it was built in a single burst of ambition or layered over centuries, it speaks of a people who refuse to be bound by the limits of their time. And as we ponder their achievements, we find ourselves drawn to another mystery, one that lies beneath the waves, where entire cities rest in silent slumber, drowned by the seas that rose at the end of the Ice Age. Join me, dear listener, as we dive into the depths to explore the sunken ruins of lost worlds, where the past waits patiently for us to rediscover its forgotten glory. We now turn our gaze to the vast, restless expanse of the ocean. Beneath its waves, hidden in the cold, dark depths lie the remnants of worlds long lost to us, cities, villages, and sacred places swallowed by the sea when the Ice Age ended. Picture yourself standing on the shore, dear listener, the salt breeze tangling your hair, the horizon stretching endlessly before you. The waves lap gently at your feet, but they guard a secret. Entire landscapes where our ancestors once walked, loved, and built, now submerged beneath hundreds of feet of water. These are not mere myths, but tangible relics. Their streets and temples now home to fish and coral, their stories preserved in perfect silence. Tonight we dive into the mystery of these submerged cities. Atlit Yam in Israel, Dvarka in India, Pavlitri in Greece, and Yanaguni in Japan, a clue to a drowned world that challenges our understanding of the past. Let us plunge into the depths, guided by the echoes of forgotten civilizations, as we explore the traces of a world lost to the sea. Imagine a time 15,000 years ago when the Earth was locked in the final throes of the Ice Age. Vast glaciers held so much water that sea levels were 400 foot lower than they are today. Coastlines extended miles beyond their modern boundaries, revealing plains and valleys where communities thrived. Rivers that now vanish beneath the waves once nourished fertile lands, and islands now mere specks were once towering hills rising from sprawling landscapes. Our ancestors built their homes along these ancient shores, drawn by the bounty of the sea, salt, and trade routes that connected distant peoples. But as the ice began to melt, the seas rose relentlessly, not in a sudden deluge, but in a slow, inexorable flood that spanned generations. Beaches became shallows, valleys turned to bays, and entire settlements were submerged, their inhabitants forced to flee or adapt. By 6,000 years ago, when the melting stopped, over 120 m of coastline had vanished, taking with it countless chapters of human history. Today, less than 5% of the ocean floor has been mapped in detail, leaving these drowned worlds largely unexplored, their secrets waiting in the silent depths. Our first stop is at Atlit Yam, a Neolithic village off the coast of Israel, submerged 9,000 years ago beneath the Mediterranean Sea. Discovered in the 1980s, this site is a time capsule of early human life, remarkably preserved by the anaerobic conditions of the seafloor. Stone houses stand intact, their hearth still bearing traces of ancient fires. Wooden artifacts, rare survivors of millennia, lie scattered among the ruins alongside tools of flint and bone. At the heart of the village, a circle of 7 megaliths, each weighing up to 600 kilograms, surrounds a freshwater spring that still bubbles up from the ocean flora. Silent testament to a community that revered this life-giving source. The preservation is so extraordinary that archaeologists can trace the daily lives of its people. They grew wheat and barley, domesticated animals, and fished the rich coastal waters. They traded materials from hundreds of kilometers away, suggesting a network of connections that spanned the ancient world. Standing here, In your mind's eye, imagine the villages gathering around the spring, their voices mingling with the sound of waves, their lives unfolding in a world that would soon be lost to the sea. But Atlat Yam is more than a snapshot of Neolithic life. It raises questions that ripple through time. How did a community of supposed hunter-gatherers build such permanent structures with stone houses and a sophisticated trade network? Why did they arrange massive stones around a spring? A design that echoes the sacred circles of Baklit. Could this have been a place of ritual? A sanctuary where people sought to understand their place in a changing world? Some speculate that the rising seas forced these villagers to abandon their homes, leaving behind a monument that still speaks of their resilience and ingenuity. Others wonder if Atlat Yam was part of a broader coastal culture, now lost, that flourished along the Mediterranean's ancient shores, its traces scattered beneath the waves. We travel now to the western coast of India, near the modern city of Dwarka, where another submerged enigma awaits. Local tradition has long spoken of a magnificent city, the legendary capital of Lord Krishna, described in ancient Sanskrit texts as a metropolis of palaces, gardens, and bustling harbors. For centuries, scholars dismissed these tales as mythology, poetic embellishments with no basis in reality. But in recent decades, underwater surveys have revealed stone structures on the seabed walls, foundations, and carved blocks that match the descriptions in the Mahabharata. These massive sandstone blocks, some weighing several tons, are arranged with a precision that suggests careful planning and engineering. Carbon dating of organic material found at the site yields dates ranging from 3,000 to over 9,000 years old, hinting that Dwarka was occupied for millennia before the seas claimed it. Imagine diving through these murky waters, your torch illuminating a forgotten street, its stones worn smooth by currents, but still bearing the marks of ancient masons. Could this be the fabled city of Krishna? Or is it something even older, a relic of a civilization we've yet to name? The mystery of Dwarka deepens when we consider its place in ancient texts. The Mahabharata describes a city swallowed by the sea, a story echoed in flood myths across cultures. Could these tales preserve memories of real events when rising waters inundated thriving communities? Some researchers proposed that Dwarka was a hub of an ancient maritime network, its harbors linking India to distant shores in Mesopotamia or Africa. The precision of the stonework suggests a society with advanced engineering skills capable of building structures that have endured thousands of years underwater. But others venture into bolder speculation. Could Dwarka be a remnant of a lost civilization, perhaps even connected to the fabled Atlantis? While mainstream archaeology remains cautious, the alignment of these underwater ruins with ancient texts invites us to wonder if myth and history are more intertwined than we've been taught. Next, we journey to the Iron Sea off the southern coast of Greece to Pavlopetri, often called the world's oldest submerged city, dating to around 5,000 years ago. This Bronze Age settlement spans nearly 30,000 m. Its layout remarkably intact beneath the shallow waters. Divers can trace its streets, laid out in a grid of straight lines intersecting at right angles, a level of urban planning once thought to be a much later invention. Houses, courtyards, and even a sophisticated water management system reveal a community that thrived on trade and agriculture. Unlike terrestrial sites where centuries of human activity disturb ancient remains, Pavlopetri is frozen in time, its structures untouched since the sea claimed them. Picture yourself swimming through these submerged streets, the water cool and clear, the outlines of homes and plazas visible below. The clarity of this underwater city offers a rare glimpse into the daily lives of its people. Their markets, their festivals, their quiet moments by hearths now silent. What makes Pavlopetri so compelling is its completeness. Archaeologists can map its districts, trace its trade routes, and imagine its social structure with a precision rarely possible on land. But questions linger. Why was this city built so close to the water's edge, vulnerable to the rising seas? Was it a deliberate choice, a testament to their confidence in their maritime prowess? Or did an earthquake or sudden flood hasten its demise? Some speculate that Pavlopetitri was a key node in a Bronze Age trade network, its ports bustling with ships carrying goods across the Mediterranean. Others wonder if its water management system with channels and reservoirs hints at a society that understood hydrology in ways we've only begun to appreciate. The city's survival beneath the waves is a reminder of how much of our past lies hidden, waiting for the right technology or chance discovery to bring it to light. Our final destination is Yunnan off the coast of Japan, where a structure unlike any other lies beneath the Pacific Ocean. Discovered in the 1980s by a diver, these massive stone formations descend in terraces toward the ocean floor, their straight edges and right angles resembling a giant staircase or pyramid. Flat surfaces, precise corners, and what appear to be carved steps suggest human handiwork. Yet some argue they are natural formations shaped by the sea's relentless currents. Dating estimates place the site at over 10,000 years old, a time when the area was above water, part of a coastal plain now submerged. Imagine diving into these depths, the water darkening as you descend, your light catching the sharp lines of a structure that seems too perfect to be mere geology. Could Yonaguni be the remnant of a lost civilization, its builders crafting monuments when Japan was a land of sprawling plains? The debate over Yonaguni is fierce. Proponents of its artificiality point to its geometric precision, the presence of what appear to be tool marks and its alignment with celestial events. They suggest it could be part of a Pacific culture that thrived before the seas rose, perhaps linked to legends of Mu, a sunken continent said to have connected Asia and the Americas. Skeptics, however, argue that natural processes, wave erosion, tectonic activity could create such formations, and the lack of clear artifacts complicates the case. Yet, the ambiguity of Yunnan is part of its allure. If it is man-made, it pushes the timeline of human achievement back thousands of years, suggesting a level of sophistication in a region we thought was sparsely populated. If natural, it reminds us how the earth itself can mimic human artistry, blurring the line between nature and culture. These submerged sites at Lityam, Dvarka, Pavlip, Petri, and Yanagunyari, more than archaeological curiosities. They are windows into a world we've barely begun to understand. The rising seas that drowned them were not a sudden catastrophe, but a slow transformation, one that reshaped the earth and its people. Could these sites be part of a global network? A web of coastal civilizations that traded goods, ideas, and technologies across ancient seas. Some speculate that their builders were master navigators, sailing vessels guided by stars and currents, their knowledge preserved in myths of great floods and lost lands. Others whisper of stranger possibilities that these cities held secrets, perhaps advanced engineering or even esoteric knowledge that vanished with them. The idea of Atlantis or MW may seem fanciful, but the discovery of these underwater ruins forces us to question where myth ends and history begins. As we float above these sunken worlds, the water shimmering with the ghosts of ancient lives, we feel the pull of their mystery. These cities are not just relics, but reminders of the impermanence of all we build, yet also of the resilience of human ingenuity. They speak of people who faced rising waters, changing climates, and the challenges of survival, just as we do today. And as we ponder their fate, we are drawn to another enigma, one that stands not beneath the waves, but atop the earth, where massive stones defy gravity and time. Join me, dear listener, as we rise from the depths to explore the impossible megaliths of Baalbek, Saxe Vamun, and Pumapunku, where the past challenges us with feats of engineering that seem to touch the stars. As we emerge from the shadowy depths of submerged cities, where the ocean guards the secrets of lost worlds, we now stand upon the solid earth, where another mystery awaits monuments of stone so massive, so precisely crafted, they seem to defy the very laws of time and physics. Picture yourself, dear listener, on a sun-shed plain in Lebanon, a high plateau in Peru, or a windswept altiplano in Bolivia. The air hums with the weight of ages, and before you rise blocks of stone larger than modern buses fitted together with a precision that mocks our understanding of ancient tools. These are the megaliths of Baalbek, Saxe Huaman, and Pumapunku giants that challenge our assumptions about what our ancestors could achieve. Each stone, some weighing hundreds of tons, was quarried, shaped, and placed with a mastery that whispers of knowledge we've yet to rediscover. Tonight we walk among these impossible stones, tracing the hands that moved them, the minds that planned them, and the mysteries that still cling to their surfaces. Let us journey, guided by the echoes of ancient engineers, into a world where stone and ambition became one. First, we arrive at Baalbek in Lebanon's Bekaa Valley, a place the Romans called Heliopolis, the city of the sun. Here, amidst the ruins of grand temples, lies a foundation that predates Roman hands, a marvel known as the trilithon. 3 limestone blocks, each measuring 64 feet long, 14 feet high, and 12 feet thick, form a wall so perfectly joined that a knife blade cannot slip between them. Each block weighs around 800 tons, more than the largest stones in Egypt's Great Pyramid. Yet they were lifted, transported, and set with an accuracy that defies modern engineering. Imagine standing before these giants, their surfaces smooth and unyielding, their presence a silent rebuke to our assumptions about the past. The Romans built atop these foundations, but the trilithon was already ancient when they arrived, crafted by a people whose identity remains shrouded in mystery. A mile away, in a nearby quarry, lies an even greater enigma, the stone of the pregnant woman, a monolith partially carved but never moved, weighing an estimated 200 tons. Picture it half buried in the earth, its edges sharp and precise, as if its creators paused mid-task, leaving it to wait for millennia. How did they plan to move such a colossal block? Modern cranes capable of lifting such weight didn't exist until the 20th century. And even today, transporting it over rough terrain would be a logistical nightmare. Yet, the builders of Baalbek not only planned to move this stone, but succeeded with others nearly as large, placing them with a precision that has endured earthquakes, wars, and the passage of time. The joints are so tight, the surfaces so smooth that they seem almost machine-made, prompting questions about the tools and techniques used. Were they relying solely on ropes, rollers, and human strength? Or did they possess methods we've yet to comprehend? Let us cross the globe to the Andes Mountains of Peru, where the fortress of Saxe Huaman overlooks the ancient Inca capital of Cusco. Here, massive blocks of granite and limestone, some weighing over 100 tons, form walls that twist and curve in complex polygonal patterns. Each stone is uniquely shaped to fit its neighbors, like pieces of a three-dimensional puzzle, with joints so tight that not even a sheet of paper can pass through. The precision is breathtaking. Blocks have as many as 12 sides, each angled to lock perfectly with those around it. These walls have stood for centuries in one of the most seismically active regions on Earth, surviving tremors that toppled later constructions. Imagine running your fingers along these stones, their surfaces polished to a near-mirror finish, their curves flowing seamlessly into one another. The engineering behind this earthquake-resistant design is only now being studied by modern architects who marvel at its ingenuity. The stones of Sacsayhuan were quarried miles away, dragged up steep mountain slopes and shaped with a precision that seems almost otherworldly. The Andes' thin air at over 11,000 feet above sea level makes physical labor grueling. Yet, these builders accomplished feats that would challenge today's technology. How did they measure and cut these irregular shapes to fit so perfectly? The process would have required meticulous planning, trial fittings, and a deep understanding of geometry and structural dynamics. Some stones bear subtle marks, as if polished by abrasive techniques that erased the traces of their carving. Others seem to flow together, their edges blending so smoothly they appear almost organic. This level of craftsmanship suggests a tradition refined over generations, a mastery that turned raw stone into a symphony of form and function. Our journey takes us further south to Pumapunku, part of the Tiwanaku complex in Bolivia, where the mystery of ancient stonework reaches its zenith. Here, blocks of andesite and red sandstone among the hardest materials to work form structures of unparalleled precision. The surfaces are so flat they seem machine-milled with edges straight to within fractions of an inch and corners forming perfect right angles. Some blocks feature intricate channels and joints, as if designed to interlock like pieces of a giant puzzle. Others bear standardized elements, suggesting a level of planning and quality control we associate with modern manufacturing. Picture yourself standing before a single block, its surface gleaming under the high-altitude sun, its edges so sharp they could have been cut yesterday. These stones, some weighing over 100 tons, were transported across Lake Titicaca and up steep slopes to a site 12,000 feet above sea level, a feat that seems nearly impossible given the tools available. The andesite at Pumapunku is particularly perplexing. Its hardness makes it resistant to copper or bronze tools, the most advanced metals known to ancient South American peoples. Stone tools would have required immense time and effort to shape such material. Yet, the surfaces show no rough marks, no signs of the chiseling we'd expect. Some blocks feature drilled holes and grooves, so precise they suggest advanced techniques, perhaps even tools lost to the archaeological record. The interlocking joints with their complex shapes and standardized forms hint at a system of mass production, as if the builders had a template for creating identical components. This level of standardization is astonishing, suggesting a society with a sophisticated understanding of logistics, engineering, and perhaps even mathematics. The mysteries of these sites, Baalbek, Sacsayhuan, and Pumapuna, extend beyond their construction to the question of why. Why did these ancient peoples go to such lengths to move and shape stones of such immense size? Was it to honor gods, to mark sacred places, or to leave a legacy that would outlast their world? The precision of the stonework suggests more than structural necessity. It feels like an expression of mastery, a declaration that human ingenuity could conquer any challenge. Some stones at Sacsayhuan and Pumapunku are aligned with celestial events, their positions marking solstices or constellations, as if the builders sought to anchor their world to the cosmos. Others seem designed for acoustic effects, their shapes amplifying sound in ways that might have enhanced rituals or gatherings. Imagine the chants echoing through Sacsay's walls, the vibrations resonating in Pumapunku's chambers, connecting the builders to something greater than themselves. But let us venture into the realm of speculation, where the shadows of these stones grow longer and more intriguing. Some theorists propose that these megaliths could not have been built with the tools we attribute to ancient peoples. The precision at Pumapunku, the sheer weight of Baalbek's trilithon, the earthquake-resistant design of Sacsayhuan. These be the work of a lost technology, perhaps one that harnessed sound, magnetism, or even unknown energies to shape and move stone. Fringe researchers whisper of ancient machines, perhaps powered by principles we've yet to rediscover, or even knowledge shared by visitors from beyond the stars. The idea of extraterrestrial influence, while dismissed by mainstream archaeology, lingers in the imagination, fueled by the sheer impossibility of these feats. Could the builders have tapped into a global tradition, a shared knowledge that linked Baalbek's masons to those in Peru and Bolivia, despite thousands of miles and years separating them? These speculations, while unproven, invite us to question our assumptions. The similarities in construction techniques across these sites, precise joints, massive stones, celestial alignments, suggest a universal human impulse to build enduring monuments, perhaps driven by a shared understanding of the world. Yet the tools remain a mystery. At Baalbek, no clear evidence of advanced machinery has been found. Yet the stones speak of a process beyond simple levers and rollers. Puma Punku. The absence of tool marks challenges our understanding of ancient craftsmanship. Some propose that the builders used abrasive techniques, grinding stones with sand and water over years. But the scale and speed required for such projects seem daunting. Others suggest that perishable tools, wooden templates, organic compounds may have left no trace, obscuring the methods used. The transportation of these stones is equally baffling. At Baalbek, the quarry lies a mile away across uneven terrain. The Sakai Huaman. Stones were hauled up steep slopes in thin air. Puma Punku. Blocks crossed Lake Titicaca, a journey that would test modern logistics. Experimental archaeology has shown that ropes, rollers, and human labor could move such stones. But the coordination required hundreds of workers. Precise planning and unwavering commitment suggests a society with a powerful cultural or spiritual drive. Perhaps these projects were not just practical but sacred, their completion a testament to collective faith or ambition. Imagine the chants of workers as they pulled these stones, the ceremonies that blessed each block, the pride of a community that saw their labor rise toward eternity. These megaliths are more than engineering marvels. They are bridges between our world and theirs. They remind us that our ancestors were not bound by the limitations we imagine, but were visionaries who saw stone as a canvas for their dreams. The trilithon at Baalbek, the polygonal walls of Saxe Vamun, the precise blocks of Puma Punk, stand as testaments to human potential, to minds that refuse to accept the impossible. As we stand before these stones, their surfaces warm under the fading sun, we feel their weight, not just in tons, but in time, in effort, in aspiration. They are not just relics, but challenges, daring us to look deeper, to question what we know, and to imagine what else might lie hidden in the Earth's embrace. As the stars begin to pierce the twilight sky, we prepare to leave these massive stones. But their mystery lingers, pulling us toward another enigma. What if these achievements were not isolated, but part of a broader tapestry, woven by minds that shared knowledge across oceans and ages? The monuments we visited raised questions that refused to settle quietly. How did people 12,000 years ago carved Basip's pillars with such artistry using only flint and bone? Why do Gunung Padang's deepest layers suggest construction from a time when humans were supposedly nomadic? How could the builders of Baalbek move 200-ton stones without modern cranes? These questions, grounded in physical evidence, have sparked theories that stretch beyond the cautious explanations of mainstream archaeology. Some propose that these feats require technologies lost to time, methods of cutting stone, harnessing energy, or organizing labor that we've yet to rediscover. Others go further, suggesting that our ancestors may have had help, perhaps from beings not of this earth. These ideas, while dismissed by scholars, linger in the collective imagination, fueled by the sheer scale of what we've uncovered and the gaps in our understanding of how it was done. Let's begin with one of the most persistent theories, the idea of extraterrestrial influence. For decades, authors and theorists have pointed to sites like Baalbek and Pumapunku as evidence of alien intervention. The trilathon at Baalbek, with its 800-ton blocks fitted so precisely, seems almost too perfect for human hands alone. Pumapunku, the andesite stones cut with machine-like accuracy and featuring standardized joints, suggest a level of technology that feels anachronistic. Could these be the work of advanced beings who visited Earth thousands of years ago, sharing knowledge with our ancestors before vanishing into the stars? Proponents of this theory argue that the myths of gods descending from the heavens found in cultures from Sumeria to Mesoamerica might be distorted memories of such encounters. The carvings at Göbekli, with their enigmatic symbols and celestial alignments, could they suggest and code messages from these visitors, a blueprint of cosmic knowledge preserved in stone? This idea, popularized by writers like Eric Fondin, captivates because it offers a simple explanation for the seemingly impossible. Why struggle to imagine how ancient peoples moved massive stones when we can envision advanced machinery or anti-gravity devices lent by extraterrestrial engineers? Yet mainstream archaeology counters that such theories underestimate human ingenuity. The precision at Pumapunku, for instance, could result from years of patient grinding with abrasive materials, a process requiring skill rather than alien technology. The labor at Baalbek, while monumental, could have been achieved with ropes, rollers, and the collective strength of a motivated community. Still, the allure of the extraterrestrial hypothesis persists, not because it's proven, but because it invites us to wonder. What if the truth lies beyond our current grasp, in a realm where history and science fiction converge? Another provocative theory centers on lost technologies, methods so advanced they rival modern engineering, but left no trace in the archaeological record. Consider the stonework at Sacsayhuaman, where granite blocks fit together like puzzle pieces, their joints resisting earthquakes for centuries. Some speculate that the builders used techniques we've yet to rediscover, perhaps involving acoustic levitation or electromagnetic forces. The idea of acoustic levitation, though far-fetched, draws from myths in various cultures that describe stones being moved by sound chants, music, or vibrations that somehow lighten their weight. Modern experiments have shown that sound waves can levitate small objects, leading some to wonder if ancient peoples mastered a primitive version of this principle, using rhythmic chants or resonant frequencies to aid their work. Igunong Padong. The chambers detected by radar seem designed to amplify sound, suggesting a knowledge of acoustics that could have served ceremonial or practical purposes. Then there's the possibility of chemical or thermal techniques. Some propose that the builders of Pumapunku used compounds, perhaps organic acids or heat treatments, down hard stones like andite, making them easier to shape. No evidence of such compounds survives, but perishable materials like plant extracts or wooden tools would have decayed long ago. Others suggest that the builders harnessed geothermal energy or natural magnetic fields to aid their work, pointing to the precise alignments of many megalithic sites with the Earth's magnetic poles. These theories, while speculative, highlight the gaps in our understanding. The absence of tool marks on Pumapunku's stones, the seamless joints at Sacsayhuaman, the sheer weight of Baalbek's trilathonal suggest methods that go beyond the flint and bronze tools we assume were used. Could these be traces of a science we've forgotten? A craft refined over generations and lost to catastrophe or time? Perhaps the most tantalizing hypothesis is that of a global civilization, a network of advanced societies that spanned continents long before recorded history. The similarities between distant sites are striking. Besip's T-shaped pillars carved with animals echo the Tmic art of ancient South America. The precise stonework at Pumapunku shares an uncanny resemblance to the polygonal walls of Sacsayhuaman, despite being thousands of miles apart. The submerged structures of Dwaka and Yanyaguni suggest maritime cultures that could have connected Asia, Africa, and beyond. Could these sites be remnants of a shared tradition? A global culture that traded knowledge, art, and technology across ancient seas. Some theorists propose that this civilization flourished during the Ice Age when lower sea levels exposed vast coastal plains, allowing communities to thrive and exchange ideas. When the seas rose, these societies were scattered, their legacy preserved only in myths of golden ages and sunken lands. The legend of Atlantis, first told by Plato, fuels this idea. Described as a sophisticated island civilization destroyed by flood, Atlantis has long been dismissed as allegory. But the discovery of submerged cities like Pavel-Petri and Dvarka raises the possibility that such tales hold grains of truth. Could Atlantis have been a real place, perhaps a hub of this global network? Its memory distorted through millennia of storytelling. Similarly, the Pacific legend of Mu, a lost continent said to have connected Asia and the Americas, finds echoes in Yanaguni's enigmatic terraces. These stories found in cultures worldwide describe advanced societies swallowed by the sea, their knowledge surviving only in oral traditions. The flood myths of the Bible, the Epic of Gilgamesh, and Hindu scriptures might reflect real events. The melting of ice sheets that drowned coastal civilizations 15,000 years ago. If so, the sites we've explored could be fragments of this lost world. Their stones and ruins, the last voices of a forgotten age. But let's consider a darker possibility. What if the truth about these sites has been deliberately hidden? Some conspiracy theorists argue that governments, institutions, or secret societies suppress evidence of ancient civilizations to maintain a narrative of linear progress. The retraction of the 2023 paper on Gunung Padang, for instance, sparked claims of a cover-up, with critics alleging that its findings were too disruptive to accepted history. Could there be archives of forbidden knowledge artifacts, texts, or technologies locked away to prevent us from questioning the past? The idea of a global elite guarding ancient secrets is a staple of conspiracy law. From tales of the Vatican hiding Atlantean records to rumors of classified excavations beneath the Antarctic ice. While no evidence supports these claims, they resonate because they tap into a deeper truth. Our understanding of history is incomplete, and each new discovery challenges the stories we've been told. These theories, whether extraterrestrial, technological, or conspiratorial, thrive in the gaps of our knowledge. Mainstream archaeology offers compelling counterarguments. The feats at Baalbek and Pumapunku, while extraordinary, can be explained by human ingenuity, patience, and collective effort. Experimental archaeology has shown that massive stones can be moved with ropes and rollers, carved with abrasive techniques, and aligned with the stars through careful observation. The similarities across sites might reflect universal human impulses built to worship, to connect with the cosmos rather than a single global civilization. Yet these explanations, while grounded, don't fully quell the sense of wonder. The precision of the stonework, the scale of the labor, the celestial alignment suggest a sophistication that feels out of place in the deep past, inviting us to keep questioning. As we sit by this imaginary fire, the stars above mirroring those our ancestors watched, we feel the pull of these mysteries. The theories we've explored may not hold the truth, but they remind us that history is not a closed book, but a living puzzle. Each monument, each submerged ruin, each carved pillar is a piece of that puzzle, waiting for us to fit it into the larger picture. The idea of extraterrestrial visitors or lost technologies may be a leap, but it reflects our desire to honor the brilliance of our ancestors, to imagine them as capable of wonders we've yet to fully grasp. The possibility of a global civilization or hidden knowledge challenges us to look beyond the familiar, to seek connections that span continents and millennia. As the fire's embers fade, we prepare to move from the realm of speculation to the light of science, where new technologies are unlocking the secrets of these ancient sites. The stones we've touched, the theories we've pondered, they all point to a past richer and more complex than we've imagined. Join me, dear listener, as we step from the shadows of conspiracy into the brilliance of discovery, where tools like LIDAR, radar, and DNA analysis are revealing a history that continues to surprise and inspire, guiding us deeper into the enigma of our shared human story. Imagine a world where the dense canopy of a jungle hides an entire city, its pyramids and plazas swallowed by vines and time. Until recently, such places remained invisible, their secrets guarded by nature's relentless embrace. But now, a technology called LIDAR light detection and rangingers changed everything. From aircraft soaring above the treetops, LIDAR fires millions of laser pulses toward the ground, measuring the time it takes for each to return. Advanced algorithms strip away reflections from leaves and branches, revealing the bare earth below with astonishing precision. In the jungles of Guatemala, LIDAR has uncovered sprawling Maya cities, their pyramids, causeways, and agricultural terraces stretching across landscapes once thought empty. In Cambodia, it has mapped the full extent of Angkor, showing it not as a mere cluster of temples, but as the heart of a vast urban complex that may have housed 1 million souls at its peak. These discoveries are not just new sites, but new chapters, proving that ancient societies were far larger and more complex than we ever imagined. LIDAR's true power lies in its ability to detect the faintest traces of human activity. Ancient walls leave subtle rises in the landscape, while filled-in ditches create slight depressions. Even centuries after structures crumble, their foundations alter soil and vegetation in ways that LIDAR can see, mapping entire buried cities without a single shovel. This technology is becoming ever more accessible, with drones now carrying miniaturized LIDAR systems, allowing researchers and even local communities to survey remote areas at a fraction of the cost. From the Amazon to the deserts of Arabia, LIDAR is revealing lost worlds, suggesting that our planet holds far more secrets than we've dared to dream. Imagine the thrill of seeing a digital map light up with the outlines of a forgotten city, its streets and homes emerging from the earth like a memory long suppressed, inviting us to walk where our ancestors once did. Beneath the surface, another tool is reshaping our understanding. Ground-penetrating radar. Once a crude instrument, it has evolved into a sophisticated system that creates three-dimensional images of buried structures. By sending radio waves into the earth and measuring their reflections, radar reveals variations in soil density, moisture, and conductivity, uncovering walls, foundations, and even the materials used in their construction. Gunong Padong. This technology detected chambers and passages deep within the hill, hinting at a structure far older and more complex than anyone expected. In Europe, radar has mapped Roman villas and medieval settlements buried beneath fields, their layouts preserved as if frozen in time. Modern systems can penetrate 30 m or more in ideal conditions, reaching layers that hold clues to human activity from tens of thousands of years ago. Picture the radar screen glowing with the ghostly outlines of a hidden chamber, its walls untouched since the hands that built them laid the final stone. The implications are profound. These deep scans allow us to explore sites like Gunong Padong without disturbing them, preserving their integrity while revealing their secrets. In deserts where dry conditions enhance radar's effectiveness, satellite-based systems now survey vast regions, detecting buried features across entire continents. These tools are not just finding new sites, but challenging our timelines. The deepest layers at Gunung Padang, suggesting construction as old as 20,000 years were revealed through such technology, pushing back the boundaries of what we thought possible. Each scan is a conversation with the past, a chance to hear the voices of those who built these places, their labor etched in the Earth's memory. But perhaps the most revolutionary tool is one that captures the very essence of ancient lives. Environmental DNA, or EDNA. Once we relied on bones and teeth to trace the movements of ancient peoples. But now soil itself tells their stories. Every archaeological site is a genetic archive, preserving traces of the humans, animals, plants, and even microorganisms that once thrived there. By analyzing EDNA, researchers can reconstruct not just who lived in a place, but how they lived, what they ate, what diseases they faced, how they shaped their environment. At sites in North America, EDNA has revealed human presence thousands of years earlier than any artifacts, pushing back the timeline of human arrival in the Americas. In submerged sites like at Lit Yam, soil samples yield DNA from crops and livestock, painting a vivid picture of a Neolithic village's daily life. Imagine sifting through the earth, knowing that each grain holds the genetic echoes of a family that once laughed, worked, and dreamed by a now vanished shore. This technology is rewriting history. In caves and settlements, EDNA uncovers the diets of ancient peoples, revealing whether they hunted wild game or cultivated early crops. It traces migration patterns, showing how populations moved and mingled across continents. It even detects ancient pathogens, offering clues to the health and challenges of long-gone communities. The sensitivity of EDNA is staggering. It can identify specific human groups from soil alone, even where no bones remain. This opens possibilities we've barely begun to explore, like reconstructing entire ecosystems around lost cities or tracing the footsteps of nomads across landscapes now submerged. Each sample is a time capsule, whispering stories of lives that shaped the world we inherit. Artificial intelligence is another game changer. Its algorithms sifting through vast datasets with a speed and accuracy that surpass human capabilities. AI can analyze satellite images, aerial photographs, and ground surveys, identifying archaeological features across entire countries in days rather than decades. Trained on known sites, these systems recognize pattern-subtle ridges, geometric shapes, or vegetation changes that signal buried structures. In the Middle East, AI has pinpointed ancient trade routes and settlements hidden beneath desert sands. In South America, it has identified pre-Columbian earthworks invisible to the naked eye. Picture a computer screen flickering with thousands of images, each one scanned in seconds, revealing a forgotten fort or a lost village. As if the past is reaching out to be found. AI's power lies in its ability to see connections humans might miss. It can detect similarities between sites separated by oceans or millennia, suggesting cultural exchanges or shared traditions. For instance, the geometric patterns at Gobis and Pumapunku, though worlds apart, share a precision that AI could analyze for deeper links. As these systems grow more sophisticated, they're not just finding sites, but interpreting them, estimating ages and cultural affiliations based on architectural styles or artifact patterns. This is transforming archaeology from a labor-intensive field to a global quest where discoveries are no longer limited by the number of boots on the ground, but by the reach of our technology. The democratization of these tools is equally exciting. High-resolution satellite imagery, once restricted to well-funded institutions, is now freely available online, allowing amateur researchers to scan for potential sites from their homes. Drones, affordable and portable, enable local communities to survey their own lands, documenting heritage that might otherwise be lost. In regions like Africa and Southeast Asia, indigenous groups are using GPS and smartphones to map sacred sites, creating digital archives of their history. These citizen science efforts have led to remarkable finds. Roman forts spotted in satellite images. Medieval villages mapped by local volunteers. Imagine a community gathering around a screen, their elders sharing oral traditions as drones reveal the outlines of a temple their ancestors described. Bridging the past and present in a single moment. These technologies are not just tools but time machines, peeling back layers of earth and history to reveal worlds we thought were lost. They challenge us to rethink the scale of ancient societies, suggesting that cities, trade networks, and cultural achievements were far more widespread than we believed. But they also remind us of the fragility of this heritage. Rising sea levels, urban expansion, and climate change threatened countless sites from coastal ruins to jungle temples. Digital preservation through 3D scanning and virtual reality offers a lifeline, creating detailed models of structures that may soon vanish. These virtual archives allow future generations to walk through ancient cities to touch artifacts in digital museums, even as the physical world crumbles. As we stand on the cusp of this new era, the tools of modern archaeology are not just uncovering the past, but reshaping our future. They remind us that history is not a fixed story but an ongoing exploration. Each discovery, a thread in the tapestry of human experience. The lyre maps, the radar images, the DNA sequences, they are keys to a locked door, opening paths to ancestors whose lives were as rich and complex as our own. And as we marvel at their power, we feel the pull of another mystery, one that lies not in stone or soil, but in the stories our ancestors told. Join me, dear listener, as we turn from the brilliance of science to the ancient art of oral tradition, where myths and legends hold clues to a past we're only beginning to understand, guiding us deeper into the enigma of our shared human story. Before the invention of writing, before clay tablets and papyrus, human knowledge lived in the minds and voices of our ancestors. Oral traditions were their libraries, their songs and stories, a living archive of wisdom, history, and belief. These were not mere entertainments, but sacred vessels carrying detailed knowledge across centuries with a precision that rivals written records. Consider the Aboriginal peoples of Australia whose oral traditions preserve accounts of geological events. Sea level rises, volcanic eruptions that occurred over 10,000 years ago. These stories passed down through hundreds of generations describe coastlines that match the submerged landscapes of the Ice Age when seas were 400 foot lower. Imagine a storyteller, their voice rising and falling like the tide, recounting a time when their people walked on lands now claimed by the ocean. Their words a bridge to a world long gone. These oral libraries were astonishingly resilient. Native American tribes have maintained detailed knowledge of astronomical cycles, medicinal plants, and historical events through storytelling, some predating any written records. The Navajo, for instance, tell of migrations and celestial events that align with archaeological evidence, their narratives encoding precise observations of the stars. In Africa, the Go of West Africa serve as living historians, their songs preserving genealogies and events with a fidelity that has astounded researchers. These traditions were not haphazard, but carefully curated with storytellers trained from youth to memorize complex narratives using rhythm, rhyme, and repetition to ensure accuracy. Picture a young apprentice sitting at the feet of an elder, learning the cadence of a tale that carries the weight of their people's past. Each word a thread in a tapestry that stretches back millennia. But oral traditions are fragile, vulnerable to the disruptions of war, disease, or cultural upheaval. A single catastrophe or plague that claims the storytellers, A conquest that silences their voices can erase centuries of knowledge in a moment. When new religions or political systems arrive, they often replace old stories with new ones, leaving entire histories to fade like whispers on the wind. Languages themselves can vanish, taking with them specialized vocabularies that encoded unique insight terms for plants, stars, or rituals that held the secrets of a culture. Yet, despite this fragility, some stories have endured, their survival a testament to their importance. The myths that persist, passed down through the ages, often carry the weight of profound truths, their vivid imagery and emotional resonance ensuring they are never forgotten. Among the most universal of these myths are tales of a great flood found in cultures across the globe. The Bible speaks of Noah's Ark. The Sumerian epic of Gilgamesh recounts a deluge that spared a single man. And Hindu scriptures describe a world submerged with the god Vishnu guiding survivors to safety. In the Americas, indigenous tribes tell of waters rising to swallow the earth, while Pacific Island legends speak of islands lost to the sea. These stories, so similar despite their distance, might preserve memories of real events. The melting of ice sheets 15,000 years ago when rising seas drowned coastal settlements like Atlat Yam and Dvarka. Imagine a survivor of that ancient flood, standing on a shrinking shore, watching their home vanish beneath the waves. Their story carried forward by descendants who turned tragedy into myth. These tales told around fires and in sacred gatherings were not just stories but warnings, reminders of the earth's power to reshape human destiny. The flood myths are particularly compelling because they align with geological evidence. As the Ice Age ended, glaciers released vast amounts of water, raising sea levels by over 120 m over thousands of years. Coastal communities thriving on the rich resources of ancient shorelines would have watched their lands disappear generation by generation. The submerged cities we explored Pavlip, Petitri, Yanaguni, Dwarkakud be the physical remnants of these lost worlds, their stones matching the myths of inundation. Some researchers suggest these stories were a way to preserve critical knowledge, teaching future generations how to survive and rebuild after catastrophe. Picture a storyteller recounting the flood not as a myth, but as a lesson, their words embedding strategies for resilience encoded in the guise of gods and heroes. But what if these myths hold even deeper secrets? Some speculate that tales of golden ages or divine beings descending from the sky reflect distorted memories of advanced civilizations. The legend of Atlantis told by Plato describes a sophisticated society destroyed by flood, its knowledge lost to time. Could it be a faint echo of a real culture? Perhaps one of the coastal cities now beneath the waves. The Pacific myth of MW, a sunken continent linking Asia and the Americas, finds resonance in Yunani's enigmatic terraces. These stories often describe societies with advanced technologies, navigation, astronomy, or even esoteric knowledge that vanished in a cataclysm. Imagine a priestess chanting of a time when her people sailed vast oceans, their ships guided by stars, their cities glowing with wisdom now forgotten. Could these be glimpses of the global civilization? Some theorists propose a network of cultures that thrived before the seas rose. The idea of advanced knowledge encoded in myth takes us further into speculation. Some suggest that ancient stories of gods or celestial beings might reflect encounters with beings or technologies beyond human origin. The carvings at Beklit with their enigmatic symbols could in this view be messages from a higher intelligence preserved by a people who revered their teachers. The precise stonework at Pumapunku some argue hints at tools or techniques perhaps vibrational or chemical that we've yet to rediscover. While mainstream archaeology dismisses such ideas, favoring human ingenuity, the myths themselves invite wonder. Why do so many cultures speak of sky gods or lost golden ages? Could they be preserving fragments of a history we've yet to uncover? A civilization that mastered arts and sciences we've only begun to imagine. These stories also served a practical purpose. In preiterate societies, myths were a way to encode complex knowledge. Astronomical cycles, medicinal plants, or survival techniques in forms that could be remembered and shared. The Aboriginal stories of submerged coasts, for instance, align with geological data, suggesting they preserved accurate maps of a drowned landscape. The Polynesian navigators used star chants to cross vast oceans, their oral traditions encoding precise navigational knowledge. Picture a navigator under a starlit sky, reciting a chant that maps the constellations, guiding their canoe across thousands of miles with an accuracy that rivals modern GPS. These myths were not just tales but tools ensuring that critical knowledge survived the fragility of human memory. The power of these stories lies in their emotional resonance. Flood myths with their vivid imagery of destruction and rebirth capture the fear and hope of a people facing an uncertain world. Tales of golden ages evoke a longing for a time when humanity lived in harmony with the earth or the cosmos. These narratives, rich with drama and meaning, were designed to stick in the mind, to be retold with care and reverence. They remind us that our ancestors were not just builders of stone, but of stories, their voices carrying truths across millennia. As we listen to these echoes, we feel a connection to those who came before, their hopes and fears mirroring our own. As the night deepens and the stars grow brighter, we sense that these myths are more than relics. They are invitations to look deeper, to question what we think we know. The stories of floods, gods, and lost worlds lead us to another mystery: the capabilities of the people who told them. Were they truly as primitive as we've been taught? Or did they possess a wisdom that rivaled our own? Join me, dear listener, as we move from the realm of myth to the brilliance of human potential, exploring how our ancestors' ingenuity and determination shaped a past far richer and more complex than we've ever imagined. As the night deepens and the stars grow brighter, we sense that these myths are more than relics. They are invitations to look deeper, to question what we think we know. The stories of floods, gods, and lost worlds lead us to another mystery: the capabilities of the people who told them. Were they truly as primitive as we've been taught? Or did they possess a wisdom that rivaled our own? The notion that ancient peoples were primitive stems from a modern bias, a tendency to measure their achievements against our own technological yardstick. We envision them as cave dwellers, their lives consumed by survival, their tools limited to flint and bone. Yet the monuments we've encountered defy this image. At BC 12,000 years ago, people carved 16-ton pillars with intricate artistry, arranging them in circles aligned with the stars. At Sakayan, they fitted 100-ton stones into earthquake-resistant walls with a precision that modern engineers admire. Puma Punku, they shaped andite blocks so perfectly they seem machine-made. These are not the works of simple minds, but of communities with a profound understanding of their world, capable of feats that challenge our assumptions about what humans can achieve without modern machinery. Consider the cognitive abilities of these ancient builders. The human brain 20,000 years ago, or even 50,000 was essentially identical to ours, wired for the same creativity, problem-solving, and abstract thinking that define our era. What they lacked was not intelligence, but the accumulated knowledge we inherit to the centuries of written records, scientific discoveries, and technological advancements. Yet without these, they accomplished wonders. The builders of Baalbek moved 800-ton stones across miles of rugged terrain, a task requiring not just physical strength, but a deep understanding of leverage, balance, and logistics. Imagine the planning sessions, the debates over angles and weights, the shared vision that drove hundreds to labor for years. This was not brute force but brilliance, a testament to minds that saw possibilities where we see obstacles. The engineering at these sites reveals a mastery of mathematics and geometry. At Sakayan, stones with up to 12 sides fit together like a three-dimensional puzzle. Their angles calculated to distribute stress and resist earthquakes. This required precise measurements, likely using simple tools like ropes and plumb lines honed through generations of practice. At Gobasi, the T-shaped pillars were arranged in perfect circles, their positions aligned with celestial events like solstices. This suggests a knowledge of astronomy gained through patient observation, tracking the stars over decades to map their cycles. Picture an ancient astronomer perched on a hill under a starlit sky, noting the subtle shift of Orion's belt. Their observations passed down through chants and rituals. These were not crude approximations, but precise calculations embedded in the stones they raised. The organization required for these projects speaks to sophisticated social systems. Building Bekal or Gunong Padang demanded the coordination of hundreds, perhaps thousands of workers over decades. This wasn't a task for scattered tribes, but for communities with leaders, planners, and a shared purpose likely rooted in spiritual or cultural ideals. Imagine the gatherings where plans were drawn in the dirt, where workers were rallied by a vision of creating something eternal. The labor was immense, quarrying stone with flint tools, dragging it across rough terrain, shaping it with abrasive techniques. But it was sustained by a collective will. Puma Punku. The standardized joints and mass-produced elements suggest a level of quality control akin to modern manufacturing, requiring oversight and expertise that could only come from a well-organized society. This sophistication challenges the idea that complex societies emerged only with agriculture. Golatip, built by hunter-gatherers, suggests that monumental projects may have driven the shift to settled life, not the other way around. Perhaps the need to gather for ceremonies or construction spurred communities to stay in one place, planting the seeds for farming and cities. This turns our timeline upside down, suggesting that the impulse to create, to build something lasting, was a catalyst for civilization itself. Picture a community gathered around Baklit's pillars, their rituals binding them together, their labor laying the foundation for a new way of life. These were not primitive nomads, but architects of the future, their ambitions shaping the course of human history. The tools of these ancient builders, though simple, were wielded with extraordinary skill. Flint knives, stone hammers, and wooden levers produced the intricate carvings at Quebec and the polished surfaces at Puma Punku. Experimental archaeology has shown that such tools combined with abrasive materials like sand and water can achieve remarkable precision over time. But this required patience, practice, and a deep understanding of materials, knowing the grain of limestone, the fracture lines of anderite, the weight of granite. Imagine a master craftsman teaching an apprentice to read a stone's secrets, to chip away just enough to create a perfect edge. This was not crude labor, but an art form, a tradition refined over generations, its practitioners as skilled as any modern engineer. Yet some speculate that these achievements hint at knowledge beyond simple tools. The seamless joints at Sacsayhuaman, the machine-like precision at Puma Punkakud. They reflect esoteric techniques, perhaps a mastery of natural energies. Some fringe theories propose that ancient peoples used sound or vibration to shape stone, a concept rooted in myths of music moving mountains. Others suggest they understood geomagnetic forces, aligning their structures with the Earth's magnetic field to harness subtle energies. While these ideas lack evidence, they reflect a truth. Our ancestors' capabilities were far greater than we've assumed. Their knowledge, whether practical or esoteric, allowed them to achieve what seems impossible, leaving monuments that still stand when modern buildings crumble. The dismissal of ancient peoples as primitive often stems from our modern reliance on specialization. Today, complex projects require teams of experts, engineers, architects, astronomers, each with narrow expertise. But ancient craftsmen were polymaths, blending skills in stonework, astronomy, and leadership. Egobasi. The same person might have carved a pillar, calculated its alignment, and led a ritual under its shadow. This integration of knowledge made them versatile, their worldviews connecting practical tasks with spiritual meaning. Imagine a builder at Baalbek, their hands calloused from stone, their mind mapping the stars, their heart driven by a belief that their work would touch eternity. This holistic approach may have made them more effective than our fragmented modern teams. Their creations a seamless blend of art, science, and faith. Debunking the myth of the primitive doesn't diminish the mystery. It deepens it. These ancient peoples didn't need extraterrestrial help or lost technologies to achieve greatness. Their brilliance was human, rooted in the same creativity and determination that drive us today. The stones of Baalbek, the walls of Sacsayhuaman, the pillars of Gobisi are not anomalies, but evidence of what humans can do when united by a shared vision. They remind us that innovation is not a modern invention, but a timeless trait, one that allowed our ancestors to shape stone, map the stars, and build legacies that endure. As we stand amidst these ancient works, the night air cool against our skin, we feel a kinship with those who came before. Their minds, like ours, sought meaning. Their hands crafted beauty. Their hearts dreamed of immortality. The past is not a distant echo, but a living thread, connecting us to ancestors who face challenges as daunting as our own. And as we ponder their capabilities, we are drawn to a broader question. What do these achievements mean for us today? The wonders we've encountered, pillars aligned with constellations, cities drowned by ancient seas, stones fitted with impossible precision, challenge us to rethink our story. We often view history as a straight path, a climb from primitive beginnings to modern triumphs. But these sites suggest a different narrative, one of cycles, of civilizations rising and falling, of knowledge gained and lost, only to be rediscovered by those who follow. This perspective humbles us, reminding us that our achievements, grand as they seem, are but a chapter in a much longer book. The builders of Göbekli 12,000 years ago looked at the same stars we see tonight, their hearts stirred by the same wonder, their minds wrestling with the same questions about meaning and eternity. Imagine them standing in their sacred circles, their voices raised in ritual, seeking to anchor their fleeting lives to something greater. Their dreams are not so different from ours. Their stones a testament to a universal human drive to create, to endure, to transcend. This connection across time teaches us humility. Our modern world, with its steel towers and digital archives, feels permanent. Yet, it is as fragile as the wooden homes of ancient peoples, lost to decay or disaster. The submerged cities of Atlatam and Dvarka, swallowed by rising seas, remind us that even the greatest societies can vanish, their stories preserved only in fragments or myths. This fragility is a mirror to our own time, where climate change, conflict, and the march of progress threaten our creations. Yet, it is also a source of hope. The endurance of these ancient monuments through earthquakes, floods, and millennia shows that some human works can outlast the chaos of time. Picture the trilithon at Baalbek, its 800-ton stones standing firm through wars and tremors, a silent promise that what we build with purpose can endure. This duality, fragility, and resilience invites us to cherish our moment in history, to build with intention, knowing that our legacy too may speak to future generations. The philosophical weight of these discoveries lies in their challenge to our assumptions. We've often underestimated our ancestors, labeling them primitive because their tools were simple or their lives unwritten. But the precision of Pumapunku's stones, the astronomical alignments of Gunong Padang, the urban planning of Pavlo-Petrothes reveal minds as sharp and creative as our own. They remind us that human potential is not a modern invention but a timeless flame burning brightly in every era. The builders of Saksai Vamun, fitting stones to withstand earthquakes, understood engineering principles we're only now rediscovering. The stargazers of Göbekli, tracking constellations over centuries, was science and spirituality into a single vision. Imagine their pride as they raised each pillar, their joy as they saw their work align with the heavens. Their achievements are not just relics but inspirations, urging us to recognize the boundless capacity within ourselves. This recognition bridges past and present, showing us that the challenges we face, climate shifts, societal upheaval, the quest for meaning are not new. Our ancestors grappled with rising seas that drowned their homes, with changing climates that reshaped their world. They responded with ingenuity, building monuments that stood firm, telling stories that endured. Today, as we confront rising temperatures and uncertain futures, their resilience offers a lesson. The walls of Sakai Huan, designed to withstand earthquakes, could inspire new approaches to architecture in our seismic world. The flood myths, preserving memories of lost coasts, might guide us in adapting to rising waters. Picture a modern engineer studying the interlocking stones of Pumapunku, their mind sparked by an ancient solution to a modern problem. The past is not a distant echo, but a living guide, its wisdom waiting to be applied to our own struggles. Yet, these discoveries also call for openness, a willingness to question what we think we know. The retracted paper on Gunong Padang, the debates over Yunani's origins, the skepticism about ancient global networks. They remind us that history is not a closed book, but an ongoing investigation. Each new find, from a submerged village to a buried chamber, challenges our timeline, pushing back the dawn of human achievement. This openness is a philosophical stance, a commitment to curiosity over certainty. Imagine an archaeologist uncovering a new layer at Göbekli, their heart racing as they realize it could rewrite history. That same curiosity lives in us, urging us to explore, to question, to embrace the possibility that the past holds truths we've yet to uncover. The monuments we've explored are more than physical structures. They are symbols of human ambition. They speak of communities that refuse to accept limitations, that saw stone and sea not as barriers, but as opportunities. This ambition connects us to them, reminding us that every generation has the power to achieve the impossible. The builders of Baalbek, moving stones no modern crane could lift, were driven by a vision that transcended their era. The navigators of ancient coasts, now submerged, sailed oceans with nothing but stars to guide them. Picture their courage as they ventured into the unknown, their determination as they carved their mark on the world. Their spirit lives in us in our quest to reach the stars, to solve global challenges, to create something that will outlast our brief lives. As we sit on this imaginary hilltop, the stars above mirroring those our ancestors watched, we feel a profound connection. The past is not a separate world, but a part of our own, its lessons woven into the fabric of our present. The stones of Göbekli, the myths of floods, the technologies of today, they all tell a single story that humanity is defined by its ability to dream, to create, to endure. This story is a lullaby, soothing us with the knowledge that we are not alone in our struggles, that our ancestors faced the same uncertainties and triumphed. As we drift towards sleep, Let us carry this truth. The past is a partner, its wisdom a guide, its mysteries an invitation to keep exploring. And as the night deepens, we turn to one final reflection, the future of this journey, the tools that uncovered these wonders. LiDAR, DNA, AI, only the beginning, promising discoveries that will further reshape our understanding. The future of archaeology is being shaped by a revolution in technology. Tools that seem to wield the magic of ancient myths. LiDAR, with its laser pulses piercing jungles and deserts, has already revealed lost cities in Guatemala and Cambodia. But its potential is only beginning to unfold. Imagine drones, smaller and more precise than ever, hovering over uncharted regions of the Amazon or the Sahara, mapping buried temples and forgotten roads with a clarity that rivals a painter's brush. These drones, now affordable to local communities and researchers alike, are democratizing discovery, allowing anyone with curiosity to uncover the past. Satellites equipped with advanced radar scan entire continents from orbit, detecting subtle traces of human activity. Ancient field systems, hidden settlements that lie beneath sand or ice. Picture a satellite's data streaming to a researcher's screen, revealing a network of villages in Antarctica's frozen depths, a place where some speculate lost civilizations might rest. Preserved by ice and time, ground-penetrating radar, once a blunt tool, now creates three-dimensional portraits of buried worlds. Its waves probe deeper than ever, reaching layers that hold secrets from 20,000 years ago or more, like those at Gunung Padang. Future systems could map entire underground complexes, tombs, or ritual spaces without disturbing a single grain of soil. Imagine a technician watching as a radar image forms, the ghostly outline of a chamber emerging from the earth. Its purpose a mystery waiting to be solved. These tools combined with AI are transforming archaeology into a global quest. Artificial intelligence sifts through vast data set satellite images, excavation records, ancient texts identifying patterns that human eyes might miss. In the coming years, AI could uncover connections between distant sites, like shared symbols at Göbekli and Pumapunku, hinting at cultural exchanges we've yet to imagine. Picture an algorithm flagging a hidden pyramid in a remote jungle, its discovery sparking a new chapter in our understanding of ancient trade routes. Environmental DNA is opening doors to a past we thought was lost. By analyzing soil, researchers can now trace the lives of people who left no bones, reconstructing diets, migrations, and even diseases from mere grains of earth. Future advances could make Edna even more sensitive, detecting traces of ancient rituals, offerings of plants or animals in the soil of sacred sites. Imagine a scientist extracting DNA from the sediment around Atlit Yam's stone circle, revealing the crops grown by its people, the animals they revered, the microbes that shaped their health. This technology could soon probe the ocean floor, where submerged cities like Dvarka and Yanani lie, uncovering genetic echoes of mariners who sailed ancient seas. Such discoveries might confirm myths of lost continents, linking submerged ruins to tales of Atlantis or MW, or reveal entirely new cultures that thrived on now drowned coasts. The democratization of archaeology is perhaps the most exciting frontier. No longer confined to academic institutions, discovery is becoming a global endeavor. Online platforms allow volunteers to analyze satellite imagery, spotting potential sites from their homes. In Africa, communities use smartphones to document rock art and sacred places, preserving their heritage before it's lost to development or climate change. Indigenous groups, with their deep oral traditions, are guiding archaeologists to sites long overlooked, their stories aligning with new findings. Picture a village elder in Polynesia, sharing a tale of a sunken island as a drone confirms its existence beneath the waves. These collaborations are not just uncovering sites, but enriching our understanding, weaving traditional knowledge with scientific rigor to create a fuller picture of the past. Yet, this future is not without challenges. Climate change threatens coastal sites with rising seas eroding ruins like Pavlo-Petri. Urban expansion and industrial activity destroy others before they can be studied. Digital preservation offers hope. 3D scans and virtual reality can recreate sites with millimeter precision, allowing future generations to explore them even if the physical remains are lost. Imagine walking through a virtual Gobis, its pillars glowing under a simulated moon, or diving into a digital Dua, its streets alive with the bustle of an ancient port. These virtual archives are building a global library of human heritage, ensuring that the past endures even as the earth changes. The future of archaeology is also a call to curiosity, a reminder that every discovery raises new questions. Each site we've explored: Baalbek's massive stones, Sakaiwan's precise walls, Yanaguni's enigmatic terraceas pushed back the timeline of human achievement. Tomorrow's tools could reveal even older wonders, perhaps beneath the Antarctic ice or in the uncharted depths of the Pacific. Some speculate that these discoveries might be suppressed, that institutions fear findings that disrupt established narratives. While such conspiracies lack evidence, they reflect a truth: the past is vast, and our understanding is but a glimpse. Picture an archaeologist uncovering a new site, their heart racing as they realize it could rewrite history, their findings a challenge to all we thought we knew. As we stand on this imaginary desert's edge, the stars above mirroring those our ancestors watched, we feel the pulse of this unfinished journey. The future of archaeology is not just about finding sites, but about connecting us to our roots, to the dreams and struggles of those who came before. It reminds us that human history is a living story, one we are still writing with every scan, every sample, every question. As we drift towards sleep, let this thought cradle you. The past is not lost but waiting, its secrets ready to be uncovered by those bold enough to seek them. As we stand at the threshold of the future, where the tools of archaeology promise to unveil secrets yet hidden beneath earth and sea, we now pause to let the weight of our journey settle around us. Picture yourself, dear listener, on a quiet shore at twilight, the waves whispering softly against the sand, the sky above a canvas of fading stars. The wonders we've explored: Besite's ancient pillars, Gunung Padang's buried chambers, submerged cities, massive megaliths, and the timeless tales of oral tradition have woven a tapestry of human resilience and ambition. These are not just relics of a distant past, but threads that connect us to those who came before, their dreams and struggles echoing in our own. Tonight, as Mr. I invite you to let these echoes guide you into the Codex of the Lost, to drift into dreams where the past and present merge, carrying you gently into the embrace of slumber. Close your eyes and imagine a world before history as we know it, a time when ancient peoples gathered under the same stars that shine above you now. Picture their cities along vanished coastlines, their wooden homes glowing with the warmth of hearths, their laughter mingling with the breeze. These were not primitive wanderers, but creators, their hands shaping stone with patient skill, their eyes tracing the paths of constellations, their hearts dreaming of legacies that would outlast time. Visualize their temples aligned with the solstices, their stones pulsing with the rhythm of the earth itself. In your mind's eye, see their ships cutting through ancient seas, guided by chance that mapped the heavens, their sails catching winds that carried them to distant shores. These ancestors, so distant yet so near, were driven by the same curiosity, the same longing for meaning that stirs within you tonight. As you drift deeper, let the stones of Baalbek and Saxamon become more than monuments. They are bridges across millennia linking their hands to yours. Feel the weight of their labor, the pride in their creations, the faith that drove them to move mountains. Their stories preserved in myth and stone. Whisper of a world where every sunrise brought new possibilities, where every challenge was met with ingenuity. Imagine their children playing under the shadow of great pillars, their elders sharing tales of floods and stars, their communities united by a vision of something eternal. These lives so vibrant and real are part of you, their dreams woven into the fabric of your own. Let the mysteries we've uncovered cradle you now. The enigma of Besip, the secrets of Gunong Padong, the silent cities beneath the waves. They are invitations to dream, to wander through landscapes lost to time, to hear the voices of those who shaped our world. As the waves lap gently in your mind, picture yourself walking their streets, touching their stones, feeling their presence. The past is not gone, but alive within you. Its wonders a lullaby that soothes your soul. The stars above, the same ones they watched, shine down on you now, their light a reminder that you are part of an unbroken chain of human experience, stretching from the dawn of time to this quiet moment. As sleep draws near, let these ancient echoes guide you. Dream of their cities, their temples, their lives, and know that you carry their spirit, their creativity, their courage, their endless quest for meaning. The past is a companion, its mysteries a gift, inviting you to rest in the knowledge that humanity's story is still